Welcome to the growth zone. So, does your business suck? How about fixing that now? Are you really sure your business sucks? Maybe it's your product. Maybe it's your customer service. Maybe your products are the best products in the market. You've got the best salespeople, the best marketing, but your customer service is just appalling. Maybe it's your product quality. Maybe it's even the spare parts that are not good. Maybe you don't have spare parts. Wait a minute, you don't have spare parts for your products? Hey, that's an opportunity to have an upsell, to even resell your clients, keep them on the product, and even later on selling them more products. Good heavens. It means you have to go and look at what areas in your business are really sucking. It doesn't automatically mean that everybody in your organization is doing a bad job. Maybe your quality management is a bad work, or the person who's doing the sales is incompetent in closing the deals or even getting the right people to buy. He's actually attracting the wrong people, or even selling your products at such a low price, or arranging agreements where clients eventually create nightmares for you or your organization. You don't want that. So, one of the typical areas that then eventually comes up when we look at organizations, and I've looked at many organizations as well, how the workflows go, and workflow not only just from a technical perspective, as well from an organizational way, who does what and where, why things then take longer and these things. These situations you can even put into software, and you can look at it. You can map the whole workflow and see what happens goes to where, and where you need somebody else as well. As an example, for instance, let's say you want to order a new device, a new product that you need in order to develop a new machine. Then your engineer will have to go and find, of course, what he needs. He finds it in the internet, he checks it out, he maybe even calls them, gets some leaflets. What's next? He has to send it to the purchasing department. Yeah. And the purchasing department has to go and do something. But the thing is, the purchasing department needs to know, where do I find it, so that they can do it fast and get you the stuff as fast as possible. As well, your boss needs to agree, because what does this stuff cost? That's as well a thing. Budget isn't in our budget. Maybe it's something that has to be shipped, imported. Okay, we need a shipping company. We need maybe an import agent. We have to maybe get a license to get the stuff. Whatever, doesn't matter. But that's the thing. You have to find how to do it faster. And that you do by mapping the workflow in your organization, looking at how it works. What's happening? What are you doing now? Where are the people actually complaining about things going too slow, or being overcomplicated, or even stuff missing, so they have to go back and forth? As an example, let's say the engineer goes and scans a document that he needs, sends it over by email to the purchasing guy. He goes and tries to find the stuff, and then looks again for the details, and he just can't read this stuff. He has to send it back. I can't read this stuff. Send me the leaflet. Oh, I can't send it because I only have this copy. My photocopy doesn't work. I have to scan it. I have to take a photo. Boom, boom, boom. And it becomes such a nightmare. The purchasing guy is frustrated because he can't find the stuff properly. The engineer says, yeah, these purchasing guys, they are fools. They can't do their job properly. I have to do it myself, and all these other things. And people getting annoyed at each other. And instead of actually going, finding the stuff quickly, ordering the stuff quickly, being efficient, getting the stuff paid and everything, it becomes a nightmare for everybody who's involved. And it takes ages and ages to get done. So that's something that can result even in your products, instead of being them improved and refined and new products developed so that your customers stay with you. It takes ages for the engineers. They get frustrated, they quit, and they go to a competitor. Boom. And of course, all things in development of products and other things often are something that are in the mind of the people. And eventually ideas that have been developed that couldn't be transitioned into physical products and processes because the organization just sucked in the way it was organized. People leave and implement those organizational ideas in an organization that is efficient and able to implement that stuff. So eventually that business will go out of business or eventually start losing market share to a competitor or even a startup who's going in and changing things. So yeah, that's an example. And that's just from a perspective of an engineer that needs a product to develop new machines, and the purchasing department having issues with all that. It can be even in other areas. Let's say, for instance, your marketing team needs to do something and they just can't get the stuff to the printing department because it just doesn't work, and they send it down and it doesn't work, and this print is looking a mess. And then of course the printing department needs a new printer because it's damaged, and the IT department needs to help them because the templates that they need to print and send it down to the printing department, somehow they can't transmission it to the other system because it doesn't work properly. It becomes a nightmare. Wow, you've got the next inefficiency in the organization. But if you go blindly through the day, you then don't see why your organization sucks in that way, why you are losing clients every day, why they're not coming back. It's your service bad. It's the way maybe your customer service treats your customers. If they are just acting as if the client is a fool, it just doesn't work. You have to be in a positive way, empowering as well your employees to be able to deliver a better service, be efficient, be as well a better team. Because if the entire organization sucks, it means as well that everyone in the organization is going to becoming really annoyed at each other. That creates frustration, anger, and not the best thing that you want in your organization. So that's an important thing about even saying, yeah, okay, I know I need to improve my organization, I need to improve these and these things, but yeah, even if I organize my workflow in a much better way, I still have the issue that I have 5-6 different applications in my IT, because of course this software doesn't work with that software, but I need that software to do this. And then every different department has different software in use, and it doesn't communicate with each other, and it's all the time, every day or every quarter when something special has to be done. It's just so much manual labor to move it from one to the other thing and combine it and stick it together and get everything working. It's like a huge nightmare project. Even it's like your balance sheet day when you have to do your business reports for your investors, and it becomes such a nightmare. You don't want that. But the thing is, so many businesses have got used to software that is totally outdated. It's not capable even to transition. And some of these manufacturers, they are creating software that isn't able to transition into the future. And when we look at today's world, just look at the economic transaction and the contractions that are happening through all this stuff with these viruses and people not willing to travel, and shipping and logistic chains getting damaged, people not able to even go to work because schools are being closed and they have to stay at home to take care of the kids. Daycares don't work either because the insurance doesn't cover if some kid gets ill and something happens bad, then they are not able to operate either. Then your people can't work. And that's the thing. Even if you go and say, well, I've got a fantastic lot of IT people in my organization and they're going to create for me some kind of tunnel or something, and then we're going to go through that tunnel and we will be able to work. Yes, but I haven't got the space to set up a big workstation or a desktop computer at home. What do I do? But my internet... Exactly. Which means you, technically speaking, would be creating a VPN connection, a virtual private network connection with this and that, and then you have to have this stuff, and it becomes a little bit complicated, and your user has to click there and has to click there, and so on, and then the user is confused, makes mistakes. IT can't even help them because they themselves can actually not go into the office. And where do they call if they need a problem? I can't send them an email out because it doesn't work with my system. I have to call somebody with my personal phone. Exactly. Most organizations are still in the stone age when it comes to infrastructure. IT infrastructure is a problem for mid-sized companies and even large companies because they've got used to so many applications that are unable to transition into the new world. In the new world where there's a high level of volatility, high level of economic risk, work risk, organizational risk, and process risk. Because if there's nobody in the office, nobody in the factory, we have a big problem. And even if you are able to transition, let's say 80% of your staff to work from home, even if they somehow work in the kitchen, you still have to give them notebooks and other equipment to let them work. But yeah, you can't go and set up like 200 or 800 virtual private network connections from all different locations into your home or into your office and then expect that everything will be safe. The risk towards hacking is even going to go exponentially higher. And now comes the thing. Virus attacks and all different other kind of virtual attacks onto your organization will be escalating at a high level. And we're already seeing, even for us, we are seeing that the level of attacks, of virus attacks, of trying to even to go and somehow get to access our systems or even spam our users, and that is growing. It's growing. Globally it's growing. But the thing is, I've been always of the opinion that security starts outside, which means we have to ensure that the garbage that is wanting to get into our organization and clog us, whether it's encrypting our devices, whether it's just messing up our inbox so that we can't really go through 1,000 emails and somehow fix it. Even your anti-spam system might be clogged up. I'll tell you, there's strategies to bypass your antivirus and anti-spam systems and absolutely attack your innerst systems, and your antivirus will even switch off. Yes, it'll switch off and not protect you. Ooh! If you knew what's possible, it would scare you. And the thing is, most organizations are not protected against that. So what can you do? You have to transition your organization into a SaaS model. SaaS? Well, software as a service. In other words, your business operations, the logical process, have to become enabled into cloud. And it doesn't mean that everything has to be moving from on-premise to off-premise. It can mean even that you transition certain things outside into an environment that you are able as well to reduce your centralization. Why? Because let's say you have an organization with 1,000 people working for you, and you cut the organization into 10 units, 10 organization units. Then you can disperse these 10 organization units across your city, across your country, your continent. What's the advantage? One of the advantages, of course, is people can maybe work in the areas where they like to live. So your employees might be happier and stay longer with you. And then as well produce more results, and maybe you are even closer to your clients, which means even that dispersed organization unit can even comprise of sales people, marketing people, IT, logistics. It doesn't mean that it has to be just one department. It can be separated in different ways. But at the same time, even if some kind of disruption happens in one location, it doesn't mean automatically that your 1,000 people can't work. But If you're still going the old model that was 5 years, 10, 15, 20 years and longer, you are in deep trouble, because all these things, whether it's coronavirus, Ebola, and all this other stuff that's coming, the bank implosions that will be happening in the next few months that you have to expect, airlines shutting down, logistic companies getting problems, exports, quarantines, and all this other kind of stuff, the resulting tariffs, economic battles, and other different things happening, you will have to expect that if your organization is not ready for that, you will have a problem. But I'll be sharing with you in the next few podcasts some more information on all these different strategies, so that you actually start thinking for yourself as well. How can I, as a business leader or as a senior manager in my organization, start the process of rethinking how we're doing this? Because at the end of the day, we are talking about keeping jobs, expanding jobs. We want to get people out of unemployment and get them into employment. We want to get the economies, local, regionally, and even globally, working again. We want to have business. We want to have commerce. We want to people do business with each other, and at a good, higher growing level. So let's make this even better, and soon I'll be coming back with you for new insights and as well some mind feeding. This was Christian Bartsch with The Growth Zone. Have a great day. Goodbye.